Here we go. Indian River County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of January the 24th of Thursday, June the 24th, 2010 will please come to order. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before the approval of minutes, I'd like to welcome Melissa Anderson, the new attorney for Planning and Zoning. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Now I need an approval of minutes for May the 13th, 2010.
Also move, Mr. Chair.
A second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item number 3, public hearing, Oslo Convenience Center. Mr. McCoy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Smith. This is an application from Indian River County Solid Waste District for
Excuse me.
special exception use.
Sorry, do I have to swear people in because it's quasi-judicial? I believe so.
Yes, you
Yes.
You do.
Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt.
All right. Would those who plan to speak to the issue please stand for?
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you.
Take me straight, Rita.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. This is an application from the Indian River County Solid Waste District for a limited utility use, which is a convenience center. And with special exception use applications, with an existing special exception use, if you're increasing that use by more than 10%, you need to go back through the process. And typically that's tied to building square footage. In this case, it's tied to the area of the site, and they're increasing the area of the site that they're using more than 10%. So they need to go back through the special exception process. With that, I'd like to speak a little bit about the process. They need to meet the specific land use criteria, which they have. Also, the appropriateness and compatibility of the uses looked at with the surrounding uses, and it goes through 2 public hearings. It comes to you all for a recommendation, and then it goes on to the Board of County Commissioners for the final public hearing. And you also are supposed to make findings of facts about the special exception use. At the Board of County Commissioners, they're to consider the application, consider the testimony at the public hearing, and take one of 3 actions: either approve the request with conditions, or deny the request. With that, I'd like to get to the specifics of the application. And the site is located just south of the South Relief Canal and just west of Old Dixie Highway, at the end of what is First Place. And you'll see the subject site zoned RS6, and limited utility sites are a special exception use in the RS6. This location is the site of the old landfill, so it's really not conducive to residential development around it. So the subject site to the south is also zoned RS6, is owned by the county, also part of that old landfill site. The residential development you can see in the area, the single family lots both to the north and to the southeast, and that's where the bulk of the residential development is in this case, and it's not anticipated that there'll be any closer residential development, but by and large it is zoned residential in the immediate area. This is an aerial of the site that shows the physical features. The area outlined in red is the existing facility, and the area outlined in yellow is where the new facility is going to go. Again, you can see the South Relief Canal, the homes to the north. You can see the immediate adjacent development immediately east of it is the City of Vero Beach substation, electrical substation. There's a church on Old Dixie Tabernacle Baptist. To the southeast are homes. To the south is county-owned property that's part of the old landfill. And to the west is a radio transmission tower, and that's owned industrial. Excuse me, that's owned agricultural, and is, I believe, owned by the county and leased to the radio station. The next slide shows the design and layout of the proposed transfer station. The area in yellow to the west is the new facility. shows the design and layout. The area in blue is the existing facility, and then as you get further east, the area in yellow is going to be the proposed stormwater system for the new development. There will be a 1,400 square foot building that will be on top. That's right in the center of the site, and there is some phasing involved. The phasing consists of the entire new facility being built and operational. Once it's built and operational, then the existing site will be demolished. So when it's complete, that area will essentially be grassed and stabilized. As far as traffic circulation, traffic will enter just as it does. First place will be extended. It'll come down. It'll turn into the main access point, the majority of the traffic, go up, loop through the site, and come back out. There are two other driveways that there's some parking off of and access to the trailers, and those are mostly operational driveways, and mostly the public will be using the center driveway. As far as stormwater goes, I pointed out the stormwater facility is on the eastern part of the site. On the existing part, it is a dry, or proposed to be a dry stormwater, so it will be dry the majority of the time. The site's on a very well-drained site. Landscape plan, there's a type C buffer along the north and the northeast, and the reason for that is those frontages are not what are considered to be immediately adjacent to residential areas. To the north, you've got the road and you've got the relief canal. Immediately to the east, you've got the City of Vero Beach substation. That's the reason the buffer's reduced in those areas. Then it steps up to a type B where it's considered immediately adjacent to what could be a residential area, and then wraps the south. Immediately south of the substation, they're going to use the existing county-owned property and the vegetation on that to serve as the buffering. With that, I would like to cover just a couple other items. It's a special exception use. The specific land use criteria in this section 97144.3 for limited utility uses are met, and then the general criteria are met through the proposed design and compatibilities. I'd like to get to the recommendation, and staff does recommend that the Planning and Zoning Commission make the required findings that are detailed at the end of the staff's report, and recommend that the Board of County Commission grant special exception use approval for the Oslo Convenience Center with the conditions related to the buffering outlined in the staff's report. Thank you.
Commissioners, questions? Staff?
With the traffic, don't you think because you're expanding the facility that you're actually going to have more people using it? Or am I just dreaming? I mean, I use it once a week.
I'm going to defer that to the applicant. I think they've got a feel for it. I don't know if the expansion is capacity driven now or they're planning for future population increases, but I'll let the applicant address that one in more detail.
Good evening, Himanshu Mehta. I'm the Managing Director for the Solid Waste Disposal District. Pleasure to be here this evening. One of the criteria here is we have gone to, instead of a roll-off type of system, we're going to these trailers, and they can accommodate so much more garbage and yard waste. And one of the unique things that we're doing at the site is having a complete loop where residents that are basically coming there for their garbage are able to go on one side of the facility. Residents that have yard waste, they can bypass them, go around to the other side, dispose of their material. Residents that have recyclable materials can go into the center of the facility and drop off their materials. So we're basically replicating the facility up in Fellsmere. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to look at that. That's one of our newest stations, and we're modeling this site, based on that. We have actually made this a little bigger than the Fellsmere station, and out of all the 5 stations we have, this convenience center is one of the busiest, and so we do anticipate continuous use, and by having this larger facility and the trailers, we're going to be able to accommodate the public.
So it'll be more efficient.
Yes.
Himanshu, regarding the Type C buffer up by the entrance road. Your thought, I guess, vis-a-vis the residences across from the South Relief Canal is that there's adequate vegetational buffering on the north side of the canal?
There is existing, and then plus we have the road, and in addition, we'll have the buffer there, so feel pretty confident that...
It looks pretty much like the screening will be adequate just from what's existing on the north side of the canal.
Right.
Really. Thank you.
Any other questions? You've answered my question. You've got those landscape trailers over there by themselves so that we can go by. Thank you.
All right.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment or speak? Hearing none. Commissioners?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have moved to approve and a second for a staff recommendation. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries 5-0. Thank you very much. Commission matters? Any commission matters? Maybe the record. Any planning matters?
Just a couple of items, Mr. Chairman. Since your last meeting, the Board of County Commissioners acted on the Lazy J small-scale amendment and rezoning off of Old Dixie and approved that. And they also transmitted the two Corrigan-related, the text amendment and the land use amendment. So we'll wait and see what DCA has to say about those. And I did want to let you all know that we will have a P&Z meeting on July 8th. We do have two public hearing items, so we will be having a meeting. We'll try to usher in anything else we have, to concentrate it all in one meeting, because I know that July and August people have vacations, and but we will have a meeting on July 8th. And that's all that I had, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Attorneys matters.
None.
Thank you. And with that, we will adjourn.